Hello. What does this even say? Sport channel. Close. Hi. How are you? How's everybody doing? How are you? If you're just jumping over from Facebook, thank you so much. I'm going to push buttons and see what all of this is. Okay. Oh, I can turn my sound off. What's that? Okay. I get it. Yes, well, welcome. It says, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your blah, 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 blah. Okay, good. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. This is my first time here doing lives, doing readings. Thank you so much for being here. Is this a button I should push? No. Is this a button I should push? No. So thank you for jumping over here. If it's in Chicago, it's 10:15 at night, so that's pretty late. So if you are in Eastern Standard Time or just anywhere, thank you for hanging out with me. And my name is Candice Parisi, and I'm a psychic and I'm a medium. If you don't like psychics and mediums, hang out. Hang out. You might change your mind. Who knows? And if you do like psychics and mediums, well, this is the place to be. Hi, Courtney. Hi, Jan. Hi, Maria. Hi, Tina. Aw, you guys came over. Hi, Jay. Hi, Jean. Hi, Lori. Hi, Mary. Hi, Renee. Hi, Missy. Hi, Carmen. Thank you for hanging out with me. I have to admit that Hi, Stacy. Linda, Ann, Jan, Miss Fetter. Hello. Hi, Megan. Oh, good. I have been doing Facebook Lives. Hi, Mary. I've been doing just Facebook Lives for 7 years. And so really when it comes to before Facebook Lives, I really didn't do any social media. I didn't really do any of it. And so so I've always been doing it in Facebook. Sometimes I would jump in on Instagram. Sometimes, yeah, I've jumped on TikTok Lives a couple of times. But I have all of these meditations and this content on YouTube and these videos, and there's all sorts of things here, and there's all sorts of different situations here, and so I have been resistant to to come on over here. And you know what? Tonight's the night. So I am going to do psychic readings and mediumship. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. So any questions. So let me tell you a little bit about me if this is your first time seeing me. I'm Candice Parisi. I am a professional psychic and medium. And so I connect to people's loved ones. I move out of the way. I allow your guidance to come through. I tell you what I see and hear. It's for me, it's something that I've naturally done since I was a child. And so it's not something that I've necessarily had to gain skills. I've had a lot of teachers, people who have taught me different things, but since I was a kid, I've been doing this. And so professionally today, for instance, every day this week, I've had readings with people all over the world since 6:30 this morning. So now it is 10:15 my time. So without stopping all day long. And so it's my passion. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to do all that. So I love doing psychic readings and mediumship. And so this is my first time here on YouTube. And if there's any questions that you might have, my desire here is to, because we've made such a community on Traveling Intuitive Candice Parisi, the Facebook, that's kind of my little peeps. And I'm just very partial to my peeps. And and so this is So I want to see if like there's, we can create that, but also here. And so that's the objective. So I am, I'm very blunt and very straightforward as an intuitive. And so each intuitive is different. I just tell you what I see in here. And I don't really talk about, here's what I don't have a strong connection to. So I don't have, if it's woo-woo-y, if it's anything that has like a, your aura is this color stuff, or I'm not sure if I can cuss here, so I'm going to keep it VG, but your aura is this, or your, anything that's like something that is a 1,000 miles away from your human being life. You're a twin flame of an indigo child of a freaking whatever it might be. I don't generally connect to that. I'm open to it. I have lots of friends who do astrology. I'm not really that girl. There's lots of things that I'm not. That's what I'm trying to say. And so what I am is an intuitive that is more of a solid as a table psychic. And so if it is solid and it's something that's happening in your life, something that we can do something with now, something that's very straightforward and blunt, something that's very obvious and detailed and important in your life, in your personal life now, or in the loved ones in your life, or people that have passed away, I connect to that. And so what other things? Like, I don't know a lot about like alien stuff. It feels like it's something that I think that I have a real strong, like when I'm thinking about my clients right now, they're all people who are oftentimes, not all, but a lot of times people who are going through things in their life right now that they need guidance around, that they need connection to, that they want to connect to people who have passed away. And so the other thing about me is that because I see and hear. So the way that I connect intuitively is I see and hear. So it comes through me when it comes to my seeing and hearing. So that means that just like I can see and hear a person, I can see and hear your guidance in your life and your loved ones in your life. And it's very crystal clear for me. And so if for some reason it isn't crystal clear for me, I don't say it. Because I have, what's something very important to me is integrity, especially when we're talking about things that are super important in people's lives. And so I'm not interested in it. So if it isn't super clear, it's not something that's coming out of my mouth. And that's been for the last, 20 some odd years, 29 years, that's been the case. And so I am always, working on connecting to myself when it comes to meditation, and really just working on always moving the Candice part out of the way so that I can connect deeper and deeper to the person who I am doing a reading for. And so that's what I'm up to. I think that in a reading privately with me, I don't use cards. I don't use instruments. I don't use stuff. Here and in Facebook, this is our first time here, but in Facebook, I use cards. And so I think it's easier for people to like see what I'm talking about. And it just creates a comfortability instead of just me talking at you. And so today we're going to be using the Enchanted Map Oracle cards. So I'm going to pick as many people as possible to do a reading for. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask anywhere in the comments. And I've never done this before, so I don't know how comments come through. It's different than Facebook. Once again, change, hashtag change. And and so, and then at the end, I'll pull a card for everybody here. So stick around for that. And thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. I'm hoping you're having a good week. And if you think this is super weird, you're right. That's weird. This is coffee. It's weird. It's weird that I'm drinking coffee at 10:15 at night. Psychic stuff is weird. It's weird. And so please feel free to feel weird about it. And if you yeah, and you know, whatever the feelings that come up for you, what I, you know, I want to kind of feel out the environment here, feel out the energy here. So thank you so much for being here. Aisha. Also, another thing is I'm terrible at pronouncing names. So if I pronounce your name wrong, here it is. And so that is the thing that I am not good at. And so please feel gentle with me. And yes, and thank you so much for being here. Hello. And so good. I'm gonna go through the comments here. And get to as many people as possible. So please feel free to ask any question you'd like. And again, this is my first time here, so thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being here the first time with me. And I want to kind of feel out if this is a environment to maybe do this more often in. And so if you like this, let me know as well. Yes. Okay, let's see. All right, let me start here. Okay, so I can see comments just in the same way. Missy Craig, your handle on YouTube is Ariel the Archangel. Oh, I like it. Good. Okay, let's see here. Thank you for being here, Kathleen. Hi, Bobby. Bobby and Mary. Hi, Mom and daughter. Thank you for hanging out with me. Hi, Amber. I'm so excited about our reading. You're so wonderful. Hi, Maria. Same with you. Okay. Okay, so I'm getting the gist of it. So it's a little bit different, but it's the same. Change is good. Change is good. Hit the heart button if you love change. It's a heart button if change is like your favorite. And so, Aisha, yes, you can ask a question, anything you'd like. Thank you. And so it tells me people's names, so that's helpful. It's not just all like 45, blah, 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 like that I can't even see who you are, so that's wonderful. Okay, so I think I got it under control here. All right, and so thank you for your patience with me. People can retract questions. That's interesting. Okay. All right, so let's start with you, Aisha. She says, I'd love to know Saeed's that's interesting, feelings and intentions for me. Okay, good. I'm going to pull a card for you. Thank you so much for asking your question. She wants to know what Zaid's feelings and intentions are for her. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for asking your questions. I think I got it all figured out. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. Okay. Okay, Aisha. All right, and so mountain. So when it comes to your question, what is his intentions for you? You know, this is it feels like that we're, the relationship is, it's in the newer phase of two people who are trying to figure each other out. And so it does show up as having a feeling around it like it isn't a meet each other out and about and then get to know each other kind of relationship. It shows up as a arranged or a connected relationship that feels like two people who are trying to figure each other out in a certain kind of way. When I'm looking at your scenario with this person, it does show up as they have the intention of wanting to be in your life long term, does show up as if you were, I think that I think that there is some attraction issues on your end when it comes to the person. I think that that sometimes grows over time, and in your situation, it grows over time. And so I think that it's worth continuing forward with. It does feel like that you feel like that that relationship is something that you need to go forward with, or that there's some sort of obligationary going forward with. When I'm looking at it, it doesn't show up as a negative thing. It shows up as two people who feel like buddies that shift into more. And so it's slower moving. The other person does want more with you, and it feels like it takes you time to get to the same emotional place. Yes. And so just give yourself some space around it. I think that the scenario of how you are moving forward in relationships feels, it feels like you're, navigating waters that feel maybe tricky for most people to navigate. But it feels, when it comes to your scenario, that this person has your best interest in mind. Yes. Good. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay. And so, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. Let's see. So there's lots of comments. So I will just pick every 12th person, starting in the middle. And that'll make it the easiest for my brain and life in general. And so, let's see. There's so many wonderful people here. Thank you so much for supporting me. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, 12th person is Mary Riesling. Hi, Mary Riesling. Mary Riesling, you're the 12th person. She says, holidays are hard, and is there any messages from my son? Oh, okay. Hit the heart button if you have. Let's send Mary lots of love. Mary and her daughter, Bobby, who's here as well. And anybody who's lost like a child, like your child. Lots of hearts and lots of love for you. And so, okay. And so, Mary. And you do show up as having two males that have passed away. Your son shows up as being helped. Okay, so what does that mean? Okay, so your son was so sometimes when we pass away, especially in a way that feels more sudden or all of a sudden, in which your son does show up as feeling like there was things that he would have shifted and changed inside of the prospects of him passing away if he could do it all over again. So there's some sort of sudden feeling there for him. He feels like he was gypped. And so for him, he says that when he crossed over, there was a male that showed up for him that helped him cross over. Does show up as a grandfather figure for you. And feels very much like when it comes to your son, he does. He shows up as being, since he's passed away, he says that he's your parent. He says that you have gone through like 3 or 4 lives since he's passed away. And so when it comes to feeling incredibly isolated, feeling like that you can't move forward in your life, and then also so with depression and anxiety, but also with when it comes to interpersonal relationships and people, he says that you trust animals more than human beings. And so for him, his job is to help you feel safe when it comes to your personal health. For you, all of those things are present. And on top of that, you have felt um, anxiety around health. And so his job is to help you heal, or help you feel like that you are, or he feels like his job is to help you heal and help you feel like that this is a life that feels like it's worth it to continue forward. Because there's moments where you have felt like, I'm not sure, or I'm not sure how I feel inside myself. And so I think that for him, he does show up as also sticking around his sister, and through the holidays, and also through the through like all of the holidays. He shows up as he's trying to be louder, but he says he has never left your house or your side. He's never left you. He feels like that he has been being a parent to you since he's passed. So he's been trying to be of service to you in that way, of trying to nurture you. And so I think that for him, he is lovely. I think when he expresses himself, when he shows himself to me, there's definitely ups and downs when it comes to like how he felt inside of himself, when it comes to anxieties and such. But now he definitely feels like that he has freedom from that. He doesn't have those sort of emotions, and he just loves you and feels like that. Through this grieving process, you've had all sorts of guilt and shame and different feelings that have come up, and he wants you to know that you can stop doing that. That there's nothing for you to continue to do that around, and that you are a wonderful mom and a wonderful person, and you don't let enough people know you exist. You exist to very little amount of people. He feels like it's a shame that not enough people know you. And I think that you have been intentionally making sure that people don't know you, because you're under the impression that, one, people suck, and two, you don't you don't show up as you're feeling like that, that you want to allow too many people close. And he feels like he's always trying to nudge you toward having more friendships and relationships, because he feels like it's a shame that people don't know you, that you're interesting and kind and a great mom. Yes, you have a really good son. He's going to show you more and more. He says that when he first passed away, his concentration was talking to you when you were sleeping. But then that kind of, I think that people who pass away, they're always trying to find their angle to get a person who's alive attention, but we have very busy brains, so it's hard to connect. And especially if it's our own child, it's just very painful. And so he says that now he says it's worked with his sister, but he tries to like turn things on and off in the house when it comes to his sister. And he says he's still trying to figure it all out, but he's doing whatever it takes to let you know that he hasn't left, that he's still right there in the house. Yes. Good. Well, thank you so much for being here. You have a wonderful son, and you're a great mom. Okay. Good. Okay, I'm going to get to the next person. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Then at the end, I'm going to pull a card for everyone here. So stick around for that. And thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Yes. Okay. Okay, let's see here. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let's see. Okay, number 12 is Maria Stefani. Hi, Maria Stefani. Maria Stefani says, what to do? Jim wants to reverse mortgage on a 1-year term so we can buy time to sell to developers. we would have about 50 G's each left over, 3 to 6 year term, and have a lot more. What is better? Okay, so Jim wants to reverse mortgage on a 1 year term so we could buy time to sell to developers. We could have about left over at a 3 to 6 year term. Which one is better? Okay, perfect. Great question. Thank you so much for asking your question. And hit the heart button if you're ready to make a move or make a shift in your life and you're trying to figure out how to financially do it. Yes. Good. Thank you for your question. Okay. Okay. Dry desert. So, when it comes to the context of what your question is to this card, let's talk about it. And so let's play out both scenarios. So if you were to reverse mortgage on a 1 year term, you do show up as feeling like you wish that you didn't. Just because financially, when I'm looking at the place that you have now, it shows up as an investment that increases exponentially long term. And so if you shift into keeping it and holding on to it as an investment, for not, into like the next 3 years. I don't think you need to go past 3 years, but if you can make it to the 3 year point, you do show up as then being able to feel like that you can financially, it's way more than what you think when you walk away from it. And so it's worth it to do that. I think the desire to do it sooner is because we want to move sooner. And there's worry about the economy, different things like this. But when I'm looking at it, your particular place is an investment that really appreciates in a positive way long term, in a significant way more than it would be short term. And so I would go the long game with it and hold on to it only for that reason. I think that if you were selling it, you would still gain a profit into this next year. It would just be a small profit. And it doesn't, with a reverse mortgage, it doesn't show up as being something. I don't know that doing the reverse mortgage makes you feel the most secure. And so it doesn't feel like it's the thing that would cause the most security. But if you did wait, it shows up as your best case scenario, because you do show up as, you don't show up as a traditional scenario buying your house or buying your space. It does show up as somebody who wants to knock down the whole area and create something else. And they're willing to purchase it from you for exponentially more if you hold on to it. And so I would hold on to it as an investment and not create more of a debt around it so that you can feel secure long term. Yes. I think it's a great property for you, though. I think it was a good decision. And it's not your last home, and it does show up as something that feels positive when you decide to leave it. Yes. Good. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay, I'm going to get to the next person. And if you wanted to get a private reading with me, you'd go to travelingintuitive.com to book a session. I'd love to have a reading with you. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let me see. Thank you for hanging out with me. This is great. I love this. I was a little nervous because I hadn't done this before, but here we are. We're doing it. And so, this is great. Yes. Okay, let's see here. All right. Okay, number 12 is Kelly Partridge. Hi, Kelly Partridge. Kelly Partridge says, hi, I would love a guidance tonight. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Thank you so much for asking your question. Kelly, I'm going to pull a card for you. She says she would like some guidance tonight. Perfect. So let me see here. Kelly. All right. So, sacred pool. So, for you, Kelly, everything is all around this next year. 2025 is all around exposure, exposure, exposure when it comes to what you are passionate about and what you're doing. You do show up as making some shifts and changes when it comes to something that is your business. One of those things is definitely feeling like that you are able to be hired on. So with what you do right now, you show up as being hired on to do bigger projects. I would be open to taking what you do now, which, is artistic and, is creative and, creates memories for people and does feel like it's really powerful in people's lives. And you show up as being commissioned to or asked to in a commissioning type of way to do big things. And so big murals, a big side of a building. There's going to be a desire in you to say no to doing something because you're used to the process that you do now when it comes to your work. I would be quite open to saying yes. Into April, you do show up as being asked to because somebody sees your work and they're inquisitive about it. If you would do something that feels like it's a big mural, like a side of a building, and you want to say yes, even though there's nervousness around it, because it does show up as beginning this process of you gaining a different kind of clientele in a very bigger, more exposure type of way. And so it ends up adding into more and more of those big scenarios that you feel nervous around. And it feels like it brings you a lot more passion than you think. And so I think this next year is about being open to shifting your business in a way where it's much more exposure, but it's also like a higher stakes situation because it's not like you're making art for somebody individually. You're making art for like everybody who drives by it. And so it feels like that there's nervousness around it. But when asked about it, my invitation to you is to say yes to it, because it does show up as giving you opportunity to do more and more of it, and you really love it more than you think. And it does show up as getting you exposure so that you have consistent income moving forward, which feels like we're at the place now in 2025 where we've built this up enough, but it's kind of standing still or hitting a wall. And this like takes it past that point. And so feels really positive. So I'm excited for you. So, when that arrives in April, like, hey, I've seen your work and I love it. And what do you think about this? The intention, the feeling in you is going to be like, ugh, no. And so I invite you to not say no, because it does show up as being very successful and working out really well when it comes to kind of the next step to you building out a business. Yes. Good. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. Okay. All right. I'm going to get to the next person. I'm going to get to 3 more people in the comments, and then I'm going to pull a card for everybody here. So stick around for that. And thank you so much for hanging out with me and being here. What do you think of this YouTube thing? Do we want to do this more often? Do we like this? Does this feel good? Me doing Facebook Lives for the past 7 years have been wonderful, and I know it very well, and we have such a great community, and I've been nervous about this, but not feeling very nervous right now. So, because it isn't as weird. It isn't as like, sometimes you just don't know what's going on, but it isn't as weird. Okay, let's see. Okay, 12. So 12th person is Megan Yeomans. Yeomans. Hi, Megan. Megan says, terrible health anxiety related to myself and my son. And so let me pull a card for you. Thank you so much for asking your question. She says let's send lots of love to Megan. Megan says she's having a lot of health anxiety related to herself and her son. And so hit the heart button if you have anxiety, if you've experienced anything like that, so that she knows that she's not alone in her experience. Yes. Terrible health anxiety. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. So follow the leader. So in the context of your question to this card, for both you and your son, it does show up as for you do show up as you have had some health stuff in the past that's causing you to be in this sort of period of waiting for like the next thing to go down in your life. When I'm looking at for you show up as the hardest things when your health has already happened. And so it does show up as an anxiety driven direction. When it comes to your son, you have ideas about your son's health that are more extreme than anything that is actually happening in his life. And so with both of you, you do show up as moving forward in a healthy way. I think for you, because you've had some dramatic experiences in the past that have been very difficult, you're just in this place of being ready. You're ready for the next thing and you don't want to be caught off guard. So you're having these anxiety driven moments. When I'm looking at you and your son, definitely, with your son, he doesn't show up as having extreme situations in the future at all. And so if it does feel like that's more of an anxiety, like a feeling of being out of control and wanting to fixate on it so that you feel like you're in control. With yourself, you show up as you've had hardships in the past, health-wise, and now you're waiting for it to reoccur or happen again, and it doesn't. And so I think that for the anxiety part, this has been a lifelong struggle for you when I'm connecting to you and your guidance. And so it does show up as, over the next 6 months, it's a lot less. But for reassurance that you show up as way healthier than you think. And your son shows up as being just fine health-wise. And so I think that you have regular human being stuff like we all do, but there's nothing sneaky. Yeah, and so I think that you're worried about the sneaky stuff, and there's no sneaky stuff. Yes. Good. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question, and I'm sending you lots and lots of love. And anybody who has anxiety, anxiety is very difficult, and a lot of people have it, and it's a feeling of resistance. And so it's being very afraid of something. Oftentimes anxiety has to have a place to land. And so it's usually lands in a place where we feel out of control. And most of the time we feel out of control when it comes to like what could happen to our body, or, people have a lot of anxiety about dying and different feelings like that. And so your anxiety is common. And sometimes it's founded. Sometimes your anxiety is, it's a founded situation. When I'm looking at your situation, it's something that you feel less and less of it because you see over time that both of you are okay. Yes. Good. Well, thank you so much for asking your question. And thank you, everybody, for sending love her way. Yes. Okay, good. I'm going to get to one more person in the comments, and then I'm going to pull a card for everybody here. So stick around for that, and thank you so much for being here. Okay. Cindy, how are you? So many familiar faces here. So thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me. Okay, let's see. All right. Okay, 12. 12 is Kathleen Kelly. Hi, Kathleen Kelly. Kathleen Kelly says, this has been a crap year, health and financially wise. Could you please tell me how the next few months will be? Thanks. Don't hesitate to put my crap out there. Okay. All right. So I'm going to pull a card for you. She says that, let's send Kathleen Kelly lots of love and hearts. She says that she's had a really hard year when it comes to her health and finances, and she wants to know how the next few months are going to go. And so let me see. Thank you so much for asking your question. Let me see what comes up for you. Yes. Okay. So, heal the ouch. Great card. And so, it definitely, we're coming to the end of struggle. We're healing, right? And so when it comes to the health part, definitely that is a big part of the health part. You show up as, moving into feeling healthier and healthier. Financially, you show up as staying put until we get to what looks like around May. And in May, in the middle of May, you do show up as feeling like something you've waited for, or it's twofold for you, because you show up as feeling like you are waiting for something financially to go through, and then you also show up as underappreciated in what you do with your life. And so you do show up as being able to shift in May, which feels far away, but once we get to May, we shift into something financially that feels like we have security for the rest of our lives. And so I think there's this, when we're looking at struggle, it feels like that we are still maintaining when it comes to you, but we aren't in a place of like feeling like we're ahead or feeling better around the thing. And so in May, it does change exponentially, and you feel like I have security and safety. And so it does feel like that you are shifting into a place of feeling much, much better inside yourself. And so this year it ends up being positive. I would be open to the next couple of, until May, feeling financially overwhelmed, but you're heal the ouch, which means that anything that's happening with you when it comes to your health shows up as we're past the fixing it phase and we're in the healing it phase, which feels very, very positive. And so this next year ends up being a win. I think that we would want our finances to get better way before May. But when I'm looking at you, you show up as feeling like when it arrives, it feels like a breath of fresh air. It feels like you're able to know that not only then you're fine, but long term you're fine. Yes. Good. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for being here and asking your questions. I am going to do this more. This is my first time, so I think I'm going to do this more. MK says, this is awesome, Candice. Sweet. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And so, thank you, Love Light Louise. Thank you. You're awesome too. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for hanging out with me. And so, I've got, I think that this is a wonderful platform to do this on, as well as Facebook. And so I'm going to figure it out in my intuition. I was going to say in my head, but I don't figure out much in my head. And then, and I'll let you know when I'm going to go live again, which doesn't feel like it's far away from now. And so if you'd like to subscribe, I think that's what we do on YouTube. That'd be great. And so then I can let you know when I'm going live next. And I'm just so grateful that you came and hung out with me. And yeah, I think this is pretty cool. And so thank you so much. And especially if it's super duper duper late for you, thank you for hanging out with me. And I'm going to pull a card for everybody here for the, I don't know how to read this exactly, but it looks like there's 48 people here. So the 48 people who are here, and then anybody who's here in the future, the card I'm going to pick is for you. And so let's see here. And thank you again so much for being here. Okay. All right. All right. And so our card is education. So when it comes to you and in this week, pay attention to a couple things. Sometimes we feel stupid, and sometimes we feel too stupid to feel like that we can do something, or we feel like we would need more education to get somewhere that we want to go, or we feel like we're not as good as the guy next to us. And a lot of the times we're wrong. And so a lot of the times you're wrong about that. And so this week, pay attention to how much you think you need, how much you think that you are not as good as the person next to you in your life when it comes to your, when it comes to the person in the other desk next to you, when it comes to somebody in your family. A lot of times people who are propping themselves up as better than are just insecure and want to make sure that they're shining a light that they're better, and that really they're scared and insecure as well inside of their life. And so your job moving forward this week is to really feel like that you can connect to yourself as somebody that's way smarter than you think. And especially when you're around people who make it their job to make you feel stupider, they're wrong. So they're wrong. They're and anybody who puts time and energy into making you feel like you're less or stupider, let them know I said they're wrong. Don't do that. Instead, take that as an opportunity for you to use it as a schooling for you in realizing that human beings sometimes are mean to each other, and they most of the time we're trying to bring each other down because we're feeling insecure, and we don't want the other person to know that we're secure, or people to feel secure. So we pretend that we have our shit together and that we're better, but we really aren't. And so if you have those people in your life that feel like they drain you and they suck and they are always trying to make you feel small and all those things, there's something in the knowing that you are not less than. And that human beings, sometimes we do that to each other because we're feeling insecure. And so, sometimes it's helpful for when somebody's doing that to you, in order for you to kind of get your power back in your life internally, not outwardly, say, have compassion and say, I feel sorry for you. Not out loud. Inside, say, I feel sorry for you. and so, and it's something in that sort of like, oh, I feel sorry for you, that you feel like you have to do that, creates this space where you feel like you get a bit of your power back when people are being jerks. And so that's your homework this week. There's jerks in your life, but you are capable, you're in the right place at the right time, and you're smart, and anybody who doesn't think so can eat it. Death. Good. Well, thank you again so much for being here and subscribing and doing all the stuff. And I will let you know the next time I'm going to go live. I like it a lot. I'm a lot less nervous than I thought. And I'm really glad that you came and hung out with me. And I'll see you soon. I don't know how to stop this live. I have no idea. And so I'm saying I'll see you soon. And then we're probably just going to stare at each other. Is it this button? Nope. Is it? Oh, what's that? What does this do? Oh, I can do so many things. Is it this button? No. Oh, what does this button do? Start a poll. Okay, let me see what this means. Do you have? Let me write something in the poll. Let's see if you guys see this. Someone in your life that sucks. Yes or no? Okay, so let's see if it is it. Can you see that? Can you see the poll I just put out? And so I put out a poll. Oh, you can see it. Look at how many people are voting. Okay, that's cool. That's a cool feature. Can I see what your poll is? So 19 people have voted. I'll probably be able to see 100% of people. And so with the question that I put out, do you have someone in your life that sucks? 100% of people said yes. So of 21 votes. All right, so this is good homework then tonight. Let me see what this button does. Now I'm just super curious about all of it. What's this? Oh, all right, good. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I'm going to figure out how to do this more. I really like it. I'm really glad that you're here. Yeah, so you are everything you were looking for, and I'll see you soon. Okay, maybe it's this button. Hold on, let me try. Yep, there it is.